This week's episode of The Sit Down is brought to you by Virtuos Boxing. Comfort, performance, and style. Now you could have all three in one Italian-made athletic and streetwear shoe from Virtuos Boxing. Founded by former Italian professional boxer and now coach Donato DeMartiis, Virtuos Boxing is fast becoming an authority in the boxing, apparel, and fashion industries. With Donato's experience for understanding that there's no substitute for superior quality, he created Virtuos brand of authentic, durable footwear and apparel for both men and women. Virtuos Boxing has several styles of high top and low top shoes that can be seen worn by pros like Paulie Malignaggi, Jake and Logan Paul, Amy Andrew, Dylan White, Paige Van Zandt, and Ermal Hadribeaj, to name a few. Or you might find Virtuos Boxing shoes and their iconic duffel bag inspired by Speed Bag found on the fashion-forward streets of Miami, New York, London, or Milan. You could purchase Virtuos Boxing apparel online at virtuosboxing.com. That's Virtuos spelled Virtuos. Fight, resist, and win with Virtuos Boxing. Now, let's get into this week's episode of The Sit Down. What's going on, everyone? Nico here with another episode of The Sit Down, and I am joined by boxing coach, former professional boxer, and the owner of Virtuos Boxing, Donato DeMartiis. I said that right, DeMartiis?
Like you said it right. Perfect.
Awesome. I know. I mean, that's always the thing I ask all my guests. So like, what's like the weirdest way someone's pronounced your name?
Yeah, especially when it's an Italian name, right?
Yeah. I know. I can't tell you how many wrestling brackets that I have with my name spelled like different ways throughout the tournament. Like every different, it's like somebody else wrestled like every single match. It's funny. Yeah, but how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I mean, very happy to be in Florida. I could tell you that it's such a
Oh my God.
such a beautiful day here in Miami.
I know.
It's
I'm
it's
jealous.
beach day. Yeah, it's amazing. So I'm great. I'm great. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. I know. Were you able to? I know. So this is recorded what's today? The 18th, 19th. I think the 18th. So this is the day after the Jake Paul Ben Askren fight. So, what are your first thoughts on that? I guess we could tackle that first.
So my thoughts on that are that I think J. Paul did an incredible job. His
Mhm.
performance was outstanding. Um, God bless him. He did real good. And I tell you more, not only he performed well, he fought well, and knocked. It was a great, it was a clean shot, great
Oh my
knockout.
God, yeah.
I think he also saved the shot because I think the undercard was meds and meds. It was so.
Yeah, I
Uh,
know.
it was a little too long. I mean, I love the whole new idea of mixing entertainment with boxing. I think it's this
Mhm.
new trend. I support it, but I think it was just could have been a little better, but it's okay.
Yeah, I mean it's like Triller's one of their first ones. I'm sure they'll get the hang of it. I mean, the production
I
value was
agree.
there. The production value
I'm
was
with
there for
you
sure.
for sure.
Yeah, but I saw a couple people on the card. They had virtual shoes, and I got to tell you're like taking over the world by storm right now. I love it.
Yes, yes, it was very nice. Raycon, it really. I mean, he fought really hard on that fight. Fortunately, it didn't go his way, but I mean, he told me he was very happy with the shoes, the performance, and the
Mhm.
ankle support. So, Jake Paul has been using them in training, and if you had names out there, also his older brother, Logan Paul, wrote a nice quote about Virtual Soul, which is very nice.
I saw that. That was cool. Yeah. So have you talked to those guys, or they kind of just found you, or how did that like connection happen?
Well, a bit of both, to be honest with you. I mean, obviously, I'm involved in boxing full
Mhm.
time, so Boxing Network is like a little,
Mhm.
all know each other somehow.
Yeah.
Obviously, the strength of, power of social media that helps. A lot of referrals, believe it or not, a lot of
Mhm.
referrals. A lot of them are like few people. They try the shoes and they just basically refer me to other fighters or other champs or other names and they talked about it, in a good way. And that's to me, it's the best publicity, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
Noel Mikalian, WBC international champion, cruiserweight, you know, just like me, he always had trouble with shoes. His feet were like not comfortable in any of those shoes because I think in boxing shoes, there's never been put enough love into them for whatever
Mhm.
reason. It's been done for basketball sneakers, running sneakers, but not for boxing shoes for whatever reason. So that's what virtues come. That's what virtue comes from, and that's what virtue is all about. Put a love into the shoes, and he felt them. He tried them, he fought in them. He said, "These are great." And he gave me other people, and it just became like a, regular thing through referral. So which is fantastic.
That's awesome. I guess let's take it to like the beginning of everything. So how did you get involved in like, okay, like I know you were involved in fighting like pretty much your whole life. So when does that transition start? Like, I'm gonna make a boxing shoe. Like that's because that's kind of like that's a huge undertaking, especially with like all like the names that have been there for generations and generations. So how did that all start?
So yeah, well, basically my last professional fight was on 2009. And it all started because then when I retired from boxing, I started working with this famous promoter, Ahmed Erner, which took me under his wing, and I learned a lot about the business. And then working next to him, I also wanted to work in the gym and train fighters. And then when I started coaching, and I remember that I kept on hearing people saying, "Man, my shoes, like my feet, like And I remember having the same problem, And
Mhm.
I'm a size 12. And I always, so I've always thought, why boxing shoes are not as good as it should be, right?
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, so basically, it all started through. Obviously, I have a family. My family, we work in leather business.
Oh,
I have
cool.
relatives. So you know what I mean. And basically, I decided to create a prototype. So I had a couple of prototypes. Literally
Mhm.
started there in the trunk of my car,
Awesome.
and with different sizes, right? And of course I had them on me, and then I had some other fighters trying them, and literally I just went one by one. I just built it up from scratch. Like, try these shoes. What do you think? Oh, this could be better. That could be better. This is like working on those prototypes. The sample, I kept on changing them and improving them, and until I think I found the right combination, the right
Mhm.
formula, I would say.
Yeah.
And then basically then from then on, I said, okay, I think we got something good here. And we created a partnership with some other good friends of mine. We're all invested in it. And then Virtuals was born, basically.
So cool. So cool. That's awesome. So I guess we could go even farther back. Now, your dad was a professional boxer?
My dad, yes, my dad was a professional boxer in the 50s. Back then, it was a whole different kind of
I
boxing. But
I can't even
yeah,
imagine.
believe it or not, growing up, he taught me how to box since I was a little kid. Although he never wanted me to be a boxer,
Mhm.
that's this real story behind. And but I still boxed here and there, and then eventually, well, unfortunately, passed away when I was young. And
Sorry
for
to hear
whatever
that.
reason, I went back to a boxing gym, and I said I want to go back to boxing. I know my dad didn't want to, but I want it. So I pursued my boxing career, my amateur career in Europe,
Mhm.
and it started coming in my dreams. My
Mhm.
dad, and in my dreams was in my corner. It was giving me instruction. It was all into it, and I'm like, what's going on? What's happening here? And that literally kept me going. That kept me going. That kept me going. So until I kept on fighting. I did my amateur career. Then came to the States, turned pro. But to be honest with you, it's all around them. As a matter of fact, we have a shoe in a collection that is named after him, which is Sandro,
Oh,
and that's
very
one of the
cool.
shoes, one of my favorite shoes. So it's all related, right?
Oh, that's so cool. That's a great homage to your dad. I'm sure he's very happy.
I think it is. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. So and then you continued fighting and then you came to the States to pursue your pro career after?
That's right.
Very
Correct.
cool. Yeah, and then like tell us a little bit about like your pro career, what that all was like and coming up in the
So my
boxing
first
world.
career was unfortunately so busy in fights because I got injured very, very, I was carrying this injury on my shoulder for a long time, so it was hard for me to like. So I only have few pro fights, but what I can tell you is that I had an amazing. I was, I think, in the best training camp that I could ever be. I was training under Luis Lagerman, a great coach who was the head trainer of Angelo Dundee at the old Fifth Street gym. So very experienced coach. Had a lot of fighters in this camp. I used to, at the time I was training with Attila Levin, Swedish guy who was talented. Was the top five in the world. Ibrahimov was one of our guys. And I was sparring on a day, I mean, on a weekly basis with them. And of course, and we sparred with a lot of big names back then as a heavyweight, right?
Mhm.
We're all heavyweights. And I sparred a lot of people. I have a lot of experience. Training with Louis Lagerman, who's like not only my coach but my mentor and
Mhm.
somebody that I would say I admire, and no, I would say I admire and respect, because he told me the ins and outs of the boxing, not just in the ring, but also the outside part, right? So, I did a few pro fights, and then I just got injured, and then that was it. I thought that's when the promoter told me, I think you should come and work with me. I think it's, you should, don't fight, retire from fighting, and kind of step on the other side.
Mhm.
And that was really my professional boxing kind of career. So I did a few fights, and boom, right. I think it was a calling. I had to step on the other side. I had to step outside of the ropes.
Mhm.
And to be honest with you, we're exactly where I want to be right now. I have no, when you have fighters that are spark still going, to me, it's just, I love where I am. I love to help other fighters develop their dreams, their career, and make sure they get there. So pretty much that's my still ongoing pro boxing career.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, you sound like super entrepreneurial. Is that like, do you have like a lot of business owners in your family, or where do you think that the entrepreneurial spirit comes from?
I guess in my family, yes. Uh, Certainly from my relatives. I learn a lot from them. I got inspired. I have a few people that I really look up to, and I guess that's like those guys are like inspiration for me. So
Very
yeah.
cool. Very cool. Yeah. So on a day-to-day basis, you're training fighters, you're growing the brand. So where do you like what do you like doing the most out of everything? Like, I mean, everything's got its pros and its cons, but between like training fighters and promoting and running the virtuos, like where's like what's like the highlight of your day for you, I guess? I know probably a tough decision.
No, that's a good question though. My highlight of the day is when. Well, Can I mention a couple? I have a few.
Yeah,
uh,
absolutely.
Currently, when doesn't have to be a champion or a fighter, because I have a lot of like boxing enthusiasts,
Mhm.
which are buying the shoes. You know what I mean? And especially if they see that the choice of the champ is virtuous, they'll go for it, because obviously it's credibility, right? Just when I get those messages on my DM and Instagram, say, "Oh my God, I'm so happy with the shoes. My feet feel great. I'm comfortable. I feel like they lie." All those compliments that I get. That really makes my day. That's one of them. Another, that's definitely one of the
Mhm.
highlights. The other highlight is when right now I'm we're working very hard with Ermal Hadribeaj, which is my super welter boxer that we're keeping busy. We've been fighting literally every other month. The only
Wow.
thing that stopped us, like, was COVID, quarantine. We had no choice. But as soon as quarantine was over, boom, we're back in action. We're fighting May 29th here in Miami with Global Legion Promotions at the Hilton Hotel, and basically, see the improvement, see how he does better in every fight.
Mhm.
Obviously, he's a fully devoted and dedicated. So I love to see that. I love to see, literally that chemistry that there is between the bond that there is between a coach and a fighter. I always say that you could be the great coach or the greatest coach, you could be the greatest fighter, but it's the meeting of the two that makes the magic. So definitely one of those are two of the highlights that I like the most. And of course, definitely I train a lot of like private clients, and some of them are really, really cool people. They just make my day, because I see them happy. I just like to help, and
Yeah.
share, and you want to call it, you know what I
I
mean? More
saw
than.
Yeah, not to interrupt, but were you with Andrew Schultz the other day?
Yeah, that's
That
right. That's right.
that's so cool. He's like he's one of for those of you who don't know, Andrew Schultz is like a huge comedian right now, and he had a Netflix special. So how did that come up? Because that's somebody. I'm sure he had you like just cracking up while you were working out too.
Oh my God, Andrew and his fiancee Emma are the best. Literally, this morning I trained with them. This morning, it was like I was on the floor laughing, because they were just like, it's just the jokes, and time, they're so organic, and it's so much fun. They're super cool. They're a super couple. They're a super power couple. I love them.
Mhm.
Andrew knows a lot about boxing. He knows boxing in and out, man. I'm telling you, man, he knows boxing, man. His fiancée, she can box.
Yeah.
Very athletic, very into it. Let's say we don't do any little cardio, little boxing thing. We're going. We break down boxing. We go into the details, and we go like repeat and repeat and repeat and make sure that it's right, and it's intense. And today, by the way, actually, I was about to post a picture because we trained on the deck of their pool, and it was so hot.
Hmm.
Remember, this is Florida. We're melting down like ice cream, and it was so much fun. We're sweating out. We couldn't even see anymore. It's a lot of fun. It's great. They're really good. A lot of fun. So that's definitely one of my highlights for sure.
Very cool. Very cool. I know that I'm sure the Miami boxing scene's crazy. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Because I know that there's pro fighters, there's mixed martial artists. When you're talking about like the guys like Jorge Masvidal, on top of like all the huge boxing names down there. So what's like the boxing scene down there like?
The boxing scene out here is absolutely interesting. I think Florida is happening like crazy. And like you said, we have. I think there's something very interesting happening right now between MMA and boxing. And it was strange at the beginning, but I think now it started to consolidate, became something very normal. As you see this crossing over now at the low level and the higher level, right? Because
Mhm.
now you see MMA fighters, obviously stepping into the boxing ring. By the way, my professional fighter Ermal, he was a former MMA fighter, by the way.
Oh, was he?
So, yes, he had a bunch of fights, like professional fights. So, and then he switched into boxing, and we worked very hard to look like boxers and not
Hmm.
kind of former MMA fighter, which is it's a very interesting transition. But I think it's great because now it's I think even boxing is changing because of that. I'll tell you why. Because we have a lot of MMA fighters. They need to do striking. They need to do sparring, boxing
Hmm.
sparring. So they got to improve their striking. So they come a lot to the gym and spar with boxers. So they're and you have it is a combat sport, but it's two different sports.
Oh
They're
yeah.
completely different. So you got to learn how to read each other. You know what I mean? And then eventually, because of the footwork and the language of the footwork is completely different. Eventually, over time you learn it, and somehow it sticks to you, and it kind of changes a few things. I don't know. It's very interesting how this fusion, how it's happening, but I find it very interesting, and I'm all about progress. I'm all about evolution, if you know what I mean.
Hmm.
So it's interesting how it's definitely happening. It's like really, really, really big right now. So it's cool.
Absolutely. So what do you think about like even like the evolution of like mixed martial arts and boxing? What do you think about like the influencers coming over to boxing? Like I know like Jake and Logan Paul, like in my opinion, like they're really dedicating themselves and their work is definitely being shown. But like what do you like I think there's an event going on with like YouTubers versus TikTokers. And so what do you think of like something like that that's happening? Or do you, it seems like more like a money grab.
Um, to be honest with you, it's styles make fights, right?
Hmm.
I support it. I mean, I think it's unfortunately not always works out. I don't.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, not always is the perfect match. And I think it was definitely clear last night. Some of the matches were like not just mismatched. Like they were like, what's going on here, right?
Yeah.
Without going into details, right? But I think it's interesting because this is just basically bringing an audience that never watched a boxing match before. The millennium, this younger crowd. They're
Mhm.
especially boxing had a little, let's say, it was a little kind of disappearing for a while after Mike Tyson. It was MMA took over. Now it's back. Then and now I think it's good to have that different audience into the sport. And I think the YouTuber and the TikTokers are doing it, because they're bringing it, they're following. It's a great thing. I think Jake Paul and Logan Paul are great athletes.
Yep.
Jake Paul is proving himself every fight. I've seen him. I've been to his training camp several times. I've seen him sparring. I'm telling you, the guy is working real hard. He's
Hmm.
working. First of all, he's got a great team. BJ Flores, BJ Flores and Jay Leon, and it's got, I mean, great, great work ethics. He could punch, he could fight. I knew it was gonna be that way. And Logan Paul is a very, great. He's a good fighter. He's a great entrepreneur. What he's doing, I think, is great. And I think it's just good for the sport. I know it's criticized a lot. I get it, especially the old timer boxing. But I think if they do the right fight, if the fights are well matched, I think it's fun. It's exciting. At the end of the day, it's what you saw yesterday is a mix between boxing and entertainment,
Yeah.
and it's just good to have more people into the sport. Now, safety first for sure, because I think some people they're not ready to wear those gloves. You know what I mean? So that's the
Yeah.
only thing that scares me. But if it sells and people are having a good time, at the end of the day, this is showtime. It's it's show business in boxing.
Oh yeah,
So
I know. I know it was a really long time. I've been boxing since I was 18. I'm 24 now, but even me, like I waited like 6, 8 months, made sure I knew what I was doing before I even sparred for the first
all
time.
right,
Yeah,
right,
but like I don't know. I think people they look at it, they see some people doing it, but they don't realize the work that goes into it. Like even like they'll show up and like you can't just stand square to somebody. Like you're getting hurt just doing that. And
Mhm.
I don't know. I've got mixed thoughts on like the TikTok or YouTuber just because of something like that. But I guess once they start working out, I think they'll see.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, but also, I mean, like more on that, I had some more to say. I think what's good about it too is you're getting these guys interacting with top level boxers like Ryan Garcia, and they're able
Mhm.
to transition like, oh, I like this guy, let me follow him, and then they're seeing actual boxing talent too. I think that's the part
Correct.
that's very good for the sport.
And they're getting good tips from champions, from real guys. They're you saw Holyfield and Tyson, giving great tips to Jake Paul. I mean, it's great. I think we have to share, the craft. You have to share the Swiss science too. And it's if more people can understand it, it's great. I mean, I think, for example, I think one of my favorite commentators is Paulie Malignaggi. What I love about Paulie, when he commentates, obviously he's a great guy and of course a fantastic athlete.
Hmm.
It's he breaks down boxing even for a housewife.
Yep.
It just had a way to simplify things, and you're like, wow, okay, I get. What I mean, like, and it's nice because that way you're engaging more people. It's great. I think
I
it's
know. I wish they
positive.
had Paulie Malignaggi yesterday. I was not a fan of the commentating staff. As just
Really?
as if I don't know. I feel like it was a little crazy. It seemed like too many people talking.
Oh,
Yes.
last night. Oh
Oh
my god.
yeah. No, no, I absolutely I'm the biggest Paulie Malignaggi fan there is.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
he
last
was
night
he
it
was
was.
just on the podcast and
Last night was. They were having their own parties last. I mean, they were. I don't know. I like the fact that I like the casualty of it. I like the fact that it was casual. It
yeah.
wasn't so. You know what I mean? But it was a little too casual. I know they looked like it sounded like they were like having a barbecue and just having a good time and having a few
I
beers.
know.
You know what I
They're
mean?
having a little bit more than a barbecue, I think.
That's right.
Yeah, but getting away from that, I mean, what kind of fights are you excited for in the future? For like, I know I'm fascinated by like the lightweight division, guys like Devin Haney and Lopez, Gervonta Davis, as well as like what's going on with Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. What fights are you excited for?
Sir, you just named it. Tyson
Hmm.
Fury is one of my favorite guys out there. I think
He's
it's
my favorite boxer right now.
wow, man. To me, it's like that guy's got it all, man. He's such a big guy, and the way he moves and the way he rolls. I mean, he's got this defense is like it's the best heavyweight out there right now. I mean, hands out. I mean, I respect Anthony Joshua. I think is a great. I mean, he's a great boxer, but I don't think it stands a chance. I'm sorry.
I know.
He's gonna absorb all that power, and I think he's gonna have fun with it.
Yeah, as a promoter, what are some things that like that delay those fights? Because it's like I feel like we should have seen that fight 2 years ago.
A number of things, negotiation for sure, contract. And also you got to build a hype too, right? And
Hmm.
it's about scheduling the right time for because at the end of the day, there's the good fights, the big fights are too close together. We got to create a little, you got to create a momentum. It's a number of things, but who knows really what's going on behind the scenes, right? Because at the end
Yeah.
of the day, you don't know, you're not in that meeting, you know what I mean? But I would say it's a mix of both. Definitely building hype and negotiating terms, I think, right? So
Hmm. I know that could get crazy. I know, but another one that I'm super fascinated by is the Billy Joe Saunders Canelo fight. Do you think
yeah,
Billy Joe Saunders could pull off a miracle?
um, I think it's gonna give him some work,
Hmm.
but I think Canelo is on to another is a different at a different level. The guy is a season. I think he's seen it all, man. He's seen
Yeah,
everything. That guy. And anything can happen. One punch can change everything.
I
We can all
know.
have a, but
Yeah.
Billy Joe's, he wants it, man. That guy wants it. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, he's got like almost like a little bit of the crazy nut factor too. That guy's
I like
funny.
that. That's right.
He's funny. Yeah, but so I'm sure you're excited for the end of May. You've got Ermal fighting. So like what's the process?
You just get up right here.
Yeah.
Ermal, come show your face.
Yeah, get on.
Yeah, Nico.
Hi, what's up, Nico?
How's it going, Ermal? Nice to meet you.
The sniper here.
Awesome. Yeah. I think I'm following you on Instagram and everything now. Super exciting stuff coming up, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, what's
we're
up?
We're improving. Only progress.
Yeah, how's camp going?
Good, very good. We're back. We're ready to do some hard sparring with very high professional fighters.
Awesome.
So I'm gonna keep post going.
For sure. Well, you got the wooden spoon and a lot of Italians now backing you. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
Italians and Albanians.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Italians and Albanians. They're cut from the same cloth for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. So what guy? This is a good question. I think so like we're about a month out. So what's like the last month out of training camp like? Is it just when do you start to cool off on the sparring? When do you start to just tune up things?
So usually the last sparring session is about 10 days before the fight, the fight day, right? So the fight week, it's basically it's a cool off time. We work mainly. I try to keep the last heavy session on the back the Saturday before, the week before, and Monday to Saturday we really work on reactions. We go over things that we worked on. I like to sneak a couple of new things right that week, because I think a fighter, the week of the fight is a different animal. It's like it's an animal that's being in a cage and it's about to it needs to be unleashed, and sometimes they're very sensitive, very how would you say? So I like to say I like to drop a couple of like little cherries in there where this sticks for whatever reason, and they're doing it, they're doing the fight just because it was fresh. Because sometimes you work over so many things, right? Over the weeks, you go over some techniques or new things, and then that week is when you're like, hold on a second, I got a little cherry right here, boom, get this little candy right here, boom. Yeah. The eat is okay, this is good, and they walk away with that taste in their mouth, and it sticks for whatever reason, boom, you see it happening in the fight. So that's one way. That's one thing I do. But the week of the fight, I really try to keep them really like mentally relaxed and empty. The work is done. Camp is over. The week before it's done. There's nothing else that you're gonna improve. There are stamina there. The conditioning is done. All you do is just maintain and heal up and rest your body, because obviously you gotta rest, right?
Yeah.
And so we just do very light work, reaction work. Like I said, a little cherry I drop in there. And then eventually what I do, of course, light running. And then a couple of days before, totally relax. I always suggest and always advise to do everything else but boxing, at least the day before. Just watch a movie, relax, completely disconnect, read a book, something completely different, and switch on again, right? And that's how we do it. And it works. And like I said, that's definitely one way to do it. But I always work around the individual. There's never a method for every. I mean, of course, there is instruction, there is a method, but every single one of us is completely different. So I feel that me as a coach, I have the responsibility to understand who you are and work around you. It's not about wrong. It's not about 20. It's just everybody's different. Everybody responds in a different way. It's certain things you do better than other, and that's how it works. You gotta tailor the training, the camp around the fighter.
Absolutely. Very, very well said. I like that. I like that a lot. Awesome. Well, I can't thank you enough. So before we get, the fight is May what?
So the fight is May 29th. It's going to be shown on Fight TV.
All right, great.
Which is the same broadcast where Jake Paul, fought yesterday, right? So May 29th, Fight TV, Global Legion Promotions here in Miami at the Hilton Hotel. It's called Hilton Blue Lagoon Hilton Hotel. That's the one.
Awesome.
And it's by the airport of Miami.
Very cool. Awesome. And then
Ermal Hadribeaj.
Yeah, well, I can't thank you enough for coming on and supporting the sit down. I really appreciate that. Where could everybody follow? Virtuos is just on all social medias. It's just Virtuos Boxing, right?
Correct.
Yep. And then make sure to go get your Virtuos Boxing shoes and apparel at virtuosboxing.com. Whether you're a casual, whether you're a pro, I think just from my experience, I got the Vesuvios, and it's like a world of difference. I never bought boxing shoes before. I've always just used wrestling shoes, but even with wrestling shoes, you don't get that comfort or the support. It's a world of difference. I'm very excited to keep using them, and maybe, who knows, maybe I'll have a fight in the future and I could
Who
show them
knows?
off a little bit.
There you go.
Unfortunately, I'm 0-1 in my amateur career.
So you got to start somewhere.
Yeah,
There's a lot of fighters out there that became champion and were 0-1. So that will give you extra motivation. So
I'm not down. I'll be the first to say, like, I love the sport more than anybody in the world, but I don't see a professional career in my future. I'll stick to the business side of things, and talking to guys like killers like Ermal that are doing it for real.
Awesome.
Yeah, but guys, make sure you go follow Virtuos Boxing, follow Donato, Ermal. All the links will be in the description wherever you're listening to this. And thank you again for coming on. Anything that you wanted to say before we wrapped up?
No, I just want to thank you very much for this opportunity. We're very very happy. I'm very happy. I'm Italian from the old country. I'm happy to support our community. I love what you're doing, and I just want to thank you very much for choosing me, for allowing me to be on your show. It's great. Very happy. Thank you.
We'll do it again. And then I'll be in Florida hopefully soon. Maybe we could get together and do some training and film some content.
That'd be great. Let me know.
Yeah, we'll stay in touch for sure. But everybody else listening, thank you so much for listening. Be sure to subscribe. Let us know what you thought of the episode, and we'll see you in the next one. Ciao. Thanks for watching this week's episode of The Sit Down Guys. Just remember to go to virtuosboxing.com. Get your gear. I had just picked up a pair from the Vesuvio collection, and I gotta say, these are the best shoes I've ever worn working out. I go to boxing every day to get my workout in, and I gotta say, these beat any normal sneaker or wrestling shoe that I've ever worn. So super happy. So guys, go check out virtuosboxing.com and make sure you follow them on all their social medias.